Good evening, New York City and my listeners around the world. This is your host, Elizabeth Tripp. I'm live here at Gotham Podcast Studios in New York City, and I'm streaming on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube when you click on this link. It's bit.ly/Nourish the Soul YouTube. And if you are listening to my show for the first time, you can also download the podcast Fridays on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, all different platforms. I'm out there. You just search Nourish the Soul. So welcome. I am so grateful for all of you tuning in and so excited to be on a new platform, to be streaming out of YouTube and to really reach a whole new section of people, a whole new community of people. So I do invite you to like and subscribe and share this video. If today something really reaches you and moves you in a deep way, I'm 100% positive that someone you know, someone you're close to, will also find the same meaning and get quite a bit out of this broadcast. So do me a favor, take action and like and subscribe to my work. It means so much to me, and I am just so thankful for your listenership and so thankful for that type of listener. So I really, really appreciate that. So a little bit about me. I do this every time I run my podcast, and I just want people to hear a little bit about what I do and why I have this podcast. Obviously, this is not my full-time gig, but I am a full-time light worker. So I, in my real life, am actually what I call a life activator. And I have my own private practice here in New York City where I activate people on their journey back to their true and authentic self. And really, what the cool thing is that along the way, as that's occurring, we really clear out the trauma and the past hurts and the experiences that have limited you from living your best life. And as that occurs, you start to become the real master creator of your life. And you start to discover your true connection to the universe, to source, the creator, whatever you believe in, whatever is this higher power that's guiding us in our life. You start to connect to it and be able to use that as a real shoulder to lean on, a support, an unconditional love, and a creation source. Something really powerful. And I love to do that. Absolutely love to do that. So I want you to click on my website to learn more about me and what I do by heading over to nourishthesoul.nyc at the end of this video and really explore what I offer. I have a lot of different offerings, and the main thing is that I like to really help people return back to who they really, at their core, feel they are. And so that's exciting for me. But I know all of you are here tonight because I've crafted a podcast that really shares the inner workings of what I do with clients. It really, spreads more of this awareness to the kind of work that I do and the insights into the kind of thoughts that I have and my perspective on life and really my opinions. So I'm sharing from a space where I ask you to come from an open heart and from an open mind and to really sit back, relax, and go on a journey of self-exploration, because I know that something greater than myself, than yourself, than all of us together has really guided you here this evening and has brought you here for a reason. There's something that your higher self is wanting an answer to, is wanting clarity on, and is wanting some sort of completeness or peace or closure with. And that could be anything. And that's exciting to know, because people who are drawn to my work, who experience my work, they have that pull. They just have that knowing that this is something they need to experience. So know that as you're listening in, you've been guided here. And so let yourself open up to the more deeper, more meaningful reason to why you're here tonight. And what a great segue into tonight's podcast, because we're going to be talking about surrendering to the universe. Surrendering to the universe, and really what that means. And you can actually, this word is interchangeable. You know, those of you who are listening out there, it could be surrendering to God. It could be surrendering to the Creator. It could be surrendering to a higher power. It could be surrendering to an infinite source of energy, the stars, the moon, whatever you call it. But to open your heart and to open your mind to the notion that something greater than ourselves, our human self, is orchestrating our living experience, our life. Can we be open to that? And can we, with that openness, allow ourselves to explore something with even more depth than we have before? So, let's begin. Let's really start traveling down the path of understanding what it really means to surrender to the universe. So as we begin tonight, I want you guys to get starting to think about a couple of questions. You know, many of you that have been drawn to the podcast are probably wanting to learn how to stand powerfully in yourself, especially during challenging times when things don't feel like they're going your way. You know, I imagine many of us out there, because I have felt like this, have in our life experienced times where we just feel like we're getting hit with one whammy right after another. You know, maybe your car broke down. Maybe you've received an unexpected bill and it's pretty big. You know, that happens. Or maybe a family member's suddenly fallen ill. Or perhaps you've lost your job, or are on a job search and haven't found one yet. There are so many different things that happen in life, and that can happen in so many different ways for us, where we can feel like, just boom, 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 right after another. You know, oftentimes you'll hear someone say, you know, it was like my dog died, I lost my job, and then my dad passed away. And it's just like, wow. How the heck could the universe give that to one person? And you hear them, you know, start to really say, sometimes, I know, why me? How come? What is this all for? Why is this happening to me? And that is so normal. That's so normal. Because perhaps in those moments we can feel uncertain. You know, we can feel unsure if everything's going to work out, if there's really a purpose to everything. We can often feel like we are just in a perpetual state of suffering and in pain. And how could life be designed that way? Why would we ever choose to really travel in an existence so mean, so harsh? And we'll think, well, why is this happening to me? And how will I survive? You know, I've thought that way. I've been there. And I can imagine many of you have been there or are there right now. And it's times like these, you know, it's times like these we can feel like everything in the world is working against us. Like nothing is in our favor. And that we simply cannot find a way out where we can win, right? And in those moments that we feel that way, we can become so ridden with our fears. so overwhelmed with anxiety, so desperate to find a solution that's often instant or within the chains of the future, we can become frustrated and really sad. And I definitely have felt that way. So much so that I started to actually feel trapped in my life. Is this the way it's just going to be? Am I going to always feel perpetually kind of disappointed and that, things aren't going to work my way? Even with some of the really wonderful things that had happened, there was still always this constant anticipation of the next hardship. And, sort of a preparation of, being ready for something to kind of fall out from underneath me. And, how was I going to handle that? And I didn't want to face the fears of that or the pain of that or the emotion of that. So I kind of would keep my life filled with the next thing that could keep me busy, that could keep me occupied and not having to be in a state of worry. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? It is for when I say it out loud, when I really talk about it. Especially since now I really know that my thoughts are things, meaning they're powerful. And the way that I think and the way that I feel really shapes my reality. And if I think that I'm at the mercy of life and that things are going terribly wrong for me, then how crazy is that? I actually start to experience that. That's my outcome. And so I know a majority of you out there are saying, but it's true, I have felt that way and I don't understand. And how could the universe or something greater than me or bigger than me deliver that to me? How is that possible? And I recognize, guys, many of you don't realize how powerful you really are, how strong you really are, how courageous you really are. And that we, in so many circumstances, are actually given opportunity to activate and discover that for ourselves, rather than be victimized by what is and what's occurring. Because I know so many of us get caught up in feeling like a victim to our life circumstance. Like I've mentioned, why me? How could this happen? What am I going to do? And when we listen to that, when we really slow down to that, and we start to really hear ourselves, why me? How could this happen? What am I going to do? Do we hear what we're claiming for ourselves? So just hearing that, why me? How could this happen to me? What we're actually saying to the universe is, we have no idea why we are in this situation. And when we say, what am I going to do? We're actually saying, we are stuck. We don't have any solution. And remember, we've talked about this on podcast after podcast, and more recently with the theme of being in the here and now. We know that what we think and how we feel actually is a domino effect to our experiences that we have. They create result. So if we claim in our challenges, if we claim in the unfavorable conditions, if we claim during these tough times, and I know, guys, they are tough. I get it. But if we claim we don't know why this is happening and we can't understand it, we're actually anchoring ourselves farther into the notion that we have no idea how we got here, no clue, and that we are stuck in it. And so as a result, we're going to stay stuck for even longer in the situation that we're in. And it's going to leave us feeling pretty frustrated. I mean, imagine that. That's a pretty powerful declaration to yourself. Why me? How did this happen? What am I going to do? When we say that, imagine what is created from that. More pain, more mud, even more suffering. And I don't want that for you. I really don't. I don't want that for you. And so here's what I want you guys to start to see, because I've been there. I really have. I'm going to share a story tonight. I'm going to let you guys into, some of my own personal experiences with not wanting to surrender to what is, and really having to work really, really deeply within myself to find an alternative understanding and meaning. And before I do that, I want to make sure that we're just present to that here and now conversation, because it's so intricate, so important for what we're talking about today, the understanding of surrendering, because there's so much offensiveness to that. We're always on the offense, like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to experience that. That's too tough. That's too much. I can't. Or how could this happen to me? And what am I going to do, right? It's like we really rush out of the here and now, what is currently occurring for us. And we are, instantaneously moving towards a source of comfort or a perceived solution. And most often it results in just a temporary fix, or a future want or desire that now we have a gap between. So we are wanting something and don't have it, right? So in these moments where we rush out of what's experiencing and we say, how could this happen to me? And why me? And this, I don't want to deal with this. And this is so painful. And I'm always going to get the short end of the stick. And how could the universe serve me this? We miss, just in that statement alone, they're so human, they're so normal, and it's so okay. But remember, this podcast is for, to elevate you out of the most normal conversation and take you out of the box and really bring you to a new perspective and a new understanding, so that you can choose for yourself how you want to respond rather than react in life. And so in these moments, in these experiences, in these sometimes what they feel to be unfavorable conditions, challenges, if we rush out of them, we miss the deeper significance of what is occurring for us. We miss the deeper, more meaningful significance of what is occurring for us. Because I want to invite you to see that there is a higher source, a greater energy, an infinite intelligence that orchestrates a lot of what we, a majority, all, actually, I'm going to refrain from saying a lot, majority, all in which we live, breathe, and experience. That inside of us is this energy, this source. We call it in this practice the soul, and it's connected so deeply with something that isn't tangible for us here in this earth existence, but something that we have to wonder and contemplate and sometimes feel in order to really believe. So yeah, that in itself is a journey. So in no way, shape, or form am I asking you to 100% embrace that. But remember to be open and have an open and willingness and a heart that's open to explore that. And why? Why? Because it will help you. This will really help you, because life is always going to be in some shape or form not easy in many ways. It can be a challenge. I mean, we have challenges. We have death. We have loss. We have tragedy. We have abuse. We have, accidents. Things happen. And so rather than be stuck in suffering and pain, I'm offering us an alternative solution. And that's because, okay, this is what I want us to start really pondering and sinking into. What if things happen to us for a reason? Even the most challenging of circumstances, what if they have a purpose and a meaning for our journey, for our soul's journey? What if there is no such thing as a coincidence, or good or bad, or right or wrong? What if things that happen or occur for us are exactly what we need right now? That what we need to be in ourselves right now, to experience for ourselves, to have so that we can move into a next stage or place or a even greater understanding or deeper awareness with ourselves. What if that's why challenge happens? What if that's why unfavorable situations occur? What if the universe is actually rigged in our favor, and that we are drawing experiences towards us as tools or as desires for ourselves to break through what we are wanting or what we are limited by, and to really experience completeness or peace for what we truly desire? So I know that's a bigger concept, and take a moment to expand upon that. And, I want to stress to you this evening that that is not something I always believed. In fact, I understand it can be hard to hear that in a mindset where you feel angry about, having lost somebody, or you feel really, really resentful or so much, rage because somebody that you loved was in an accident, and you just cannot comprehend why that would happen. Or, that you lost your job and there wasn't any explanation for it. Or, you can't fathom why, someone would do something to you so terribly or so meanly. So those are all real human experiences, and totally normal. And I would understand if you had those feelings and questions. But I want to share with you a story. I really want to share with you a story that will help illustrate to you, this concept of surrendering and allowing that surrender to come into your existence and what it can really offer you. And everybody's experience with it can be different. And for some people, it can be as what people would consider minor, like losing a job, to as big as losing a parent or a child. But I'm going to share with you this thing that had happened to me back in September of 2018. So let's travel back there and start to just get familiar with that space. So in September of 2019, I had just landed a partnership with a foundation. And at this time, it just felt so right. I was so excited. I was really looking forward to this. It was really, truly these people, this organization, this foundation was just really in alignment with my work. I mean, their messaging and what they were wanting to accomplish. And I couldn't believe that, we were going to form this partnership. They had, more media presence than, I had at myself at the time. And so I thought, wow, this is a great way to kind of network and really get out there and spread my message. So it really felt like things were really working out, and it just seemed so perfect, and it just seemed to line up just right. It's so crazy when you think about that, how it just came in just so effortlessly. I landed the phone call with the founder. We hit it off really well. She was enjoying what I had to say right off the bat. She was excited. I was excited. So we agreed to partner up. And I can remember, feeling like things could not be better for me right now. And then, lo and behold, how I had always used to think, what's going to happen, and I had like a tiny bit of that actually. And it wasn't more than like 2 weeks into the partnership, something shifted inside of me. I could sense that something was off, and emails weren't being returned right away, and there was more radio silence than I felt comfortable with. And then boom, there it was. I received this email, and it was from the founder, and she just simply said, I no longer can continue this partnership. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you for your time. And I was just so dumbfounded. I mean, I was literally like, this is over? It's like simply just, that's it? And via email? And wow, my heart really, it sank. It sank all the way down to the bottom of the floor, totally out of the blue, not expected at all. And it hurt, truly hurt, and deeply, really. And so what did I do? Well, back then, and this was like 9 months ago, I can remember, really quickly slipping into this automatic shame game. Why me? How could this have happened to me? And reaching in to try to comfort myself and trying to figure out what I had done wrong. So I was trying to rationalize my behavior. And then, I paused because it felt old to me. It felt like I was trapping myself, like I was sinking deeper into the mud, that I was spinning. And I said, I'm going to surrender. And so I took a deep breath and exhaled it all the way out. And I started to surrender to the pain, the hurt, the ache, and let myself feel it and experience it and breathe it. And my old me just really left. The me that would have ran the shame game. She would have made the narrative that I had done something wrong. She would have created more mud to sit in, more pain to deal with. And the new me showed up. And I reached for my center. And I let myself explore why. And not the why me, but why not? And why am I not receiving this opportunity? What does the universe want me to see? And it was crazy, even as the tears streamed down my face, I went into meditation. I reached for that space, and I knew that's where I could find an answer rather than in my mind, inside the monkeyness. And in that space, I heard, it's not the right partnership. They wouldn't have helped you the way you deserve. And that was it. Instead of being at a loss, and, I started to see it as a celebration. And I started to recognize the universe was protecting me, that I needed this experience to be able to see that, yes, I could partner with something big, that they could, really see me for who I am at times, and could, embrace my work to some capacity, but that I needed that encouragement that I could go out there and get someone to really be excited about what I do, and that I could, speak about myself. I needed that. And the universe was seeing how I was wanting to be powerful and the things that I was capable of and the power of my work. And it simply was protecting me. This isn't going to serve you. This isn't going to be the right space for you. They're not going to really treat you the way you deserve, and you're not going to get what you really want out of it. So we're going to not let this happen for you. And if I hadn't allowed myself to find that space to really sink into that place of awareness, I would have made everything my fault. And I would have lost my power, and I would have lost my confidence, and I wouldn't have felt good about reaching out and doing more things and sharing my messaging. I would have let that one experience transform me out of all of the me that I had been creating for myself. And just simply because they couldn't handle what I brought to the table. And does that make it wrong? No. Does it make it right? No. It just makes it what it is. And so I surrendered to what was. I surrendered to my humanness. And within that, I was given space to actually go deeper inside myself and find what it was that was meaningful and purposeful for that experience. That it did happen for a reason, and that it was meant to be. And that sometimes in life, people can't show up the way you want them to. And that there is then that opportunity for you to not follow through. And that in a way that actually helps you out. You're sort of saved from, going down a path that maybe wouldn't have been as fruitful and as beneficial for you. So we can apply that in so many different places. And something that's coming through for me is really, I know people, and this is vastly different than the story I'm telling in this circumstance and situation, but death is often something that we often struggle with understanding and comprehending, and really wondering why the universe does that, especially in sudden deaths and in sudden losses. And equally, those of you who are out there and listening, and this may be something that you're currently going through, know that every passing of a human spirit has a deeper and more significant meaning for all those who were connected to them. And that their soul is actually helping all the souls that they were in touch with or had relationships with to see something even deeper and more clearly about themselves, just like this foundation did for me. And that I know that can feel bigger than, what you're experiencing, that it can be beyond, comprehension at times or unreachable. But if you can open your heart and allow yourself to just begin to reach farther into a space and explore what the meaning of these challenges could be, there's so many different answers you can find that can help you. Because I've met people who have felt very angry at the universe for those kinds of things. And they wear that anger on their body, and they wear it in their energy, and they wear it in their life. And so everything starts to now outwardly express itself through that lens. And I've seen them never become happy again. And if you are searching for an alternative solution and you are wanting to understand why these things have happened, these challenges, these unfavorable circumstances, and they can be anything, to losing a job, to not finding a job, to a sudden death, to, losing a friend or someone to drugs or things, anything, reach out to me. Start a conversation with me. Book a consult with me. They're free, 15, 20 minutes. We can talk about this, because surrendering is something that you will often need support to do, and will be something that doesn't necessarily come easily and suddenly for everybody. That coaching and really someone who can hold space for you and be there for you is necessary in the beginning. Whereas later on, you start to be able to develop that on your own, and you can then more effortlessly and easily flow through life and get through the challenges with more power in yourself. So I'm offering to be that person for you, to stand with you, to be there for you, to teach you how to find power and understand the deeper meaning. Because that's truly the art of surrendering to the universe. So in closing, I appreciate you tuning in tonight. I really, really enjoy all of you, and I'm so grateful for all your listenership. And I know that I have moved you in some way, and I am positive that your mind has been thinking and it has stretched to a new space with yourself this evening. And so I appreciate you taking the time to tune in and really allow for that to occur. And again, to find more about me and what I do, visit my website, nourishthesoul.nyc. Book that consultation with me. It's free, 15, 25 minutes. We can talk about what it is that you're looking to understand and explore the meaning of. Until then, next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is Elizabeth Tripp signing out. I will see you next week. Perfect.